Hi everyone, this is Mr Neel Raithatha, also known as the Wax Whisperer. Thank you for joining me in my latest video. This is of a patient who attended with really blocked earwax in both ears, and they believe that their symptoms and the earwax impaction occurs as a result of their occupation, which is a builder. So being in the building trade, they're typically outdoors or exposed to dust and dirt, and one of the possible functions of earwax we don't actually quite know. We can only assume. There's still a lot of research to be done as to why people secrete earwax and the evolutionary benefits of earwax. We can only speculate. I've mentioned before that some of the benefits are that it's acidic, and the acidity helps to inhibit bacterial growth. It's also oily, so it helps to moisturise the skin that lines the ear canal, preventing it from drying and cracking. And also earwax can be quite sticky, so any foreign particles, dust, dirt, pollen in the environment that enter the ear sticks to the wax, and in most people the wax naturally migrates out of the ear. Therefore, and it's quite plausible people who are who are exposed to dust and dirt doing their job or recreational sporting activities, for example, their ears may secrete more wax as a defence mechanism. And so this patient feels that's the case, and we're just starting off with the right ear. I started using the suction probe. However, the surface of this wax and actually the whole core of this wax is quite hard and crusty, so I wasn't able to get a suction grip. Therefore, I'm now just using an ear hook, trying to get in and behind this wax. Now, it's not with the Jobson horn, for example, we have to get in and right behind this plug in order to remove it, which will mean going too far into the ear, almost a blind entry. We don't know how far the eardrum is away, and we're going to be coming possibly in contact with the bony part of the ear canal. Sometimes patients have protrusions, bony protrusions called exostosis, and we don't want to make contact with that. So for this, ear hook initially was the correct and safest tool. And what I've done, I've dissected some of this wax into smaller pieces, brought it out to the entrance, and now I'm just using the suction probe to help manipulate the wax. What's great with the suction probe with a piece of wax like this, you've got manoeuvrability. Once you've got a suction grip, you can go left, right, up and down, instead of a straight pull extraction, which is sometimes the case with an ear hook or Jobson horn or even forceps. So the eardrum's nice and healthy, just some dead skin here. Just going to peel that away from the anterior canal wall. I'm not too concerned if I can't remove this. If it started to clarinet, which it does in the left ear, if you continue watching you'll see, I would have just left it because it's not going to improve the patient's hearing anymore. Just some wax just right near the entrance. So eardrum's intact, and this is their left ear, and I straight away went in with the ear hook in this ear. Now this was a lot more stubborn, this piece was a lot more rough around the edge, and you can see I've digged into the body of the wax and it's quite crumbly. It just broke it up into little pieces, almost like short crust pastry or shortbread. The hook just, instead of pulling the whole wax plug out, it just crumbled into pieces. Now, what I'm trying to do here is just release it from the base of the ear canal and from the back part, because it got a pretty decent sized chunk out there. At the moment, can't really use any forceps because there's nothing to grab onto. So I think it's, a couple of last few videos, people are asking why don't you use the forceps, and the reason being with forceps, you need to grasp onto something. So if there was something protruding out of this plug of wax, forceps would be great. At the moment, the wax is compressed right up against the canal walls. So in order to use the forceps, I'd have to glide the jaws up against the canal wall to get any purchase, any grip, and then the jaws will have to be wide enough to grasp one side of the wax from, say, the back part of the ear canal, and then the top jaw to grasp around the front part of the ear canal, and it's just not feasible. This wax plug's too big, it's all around the perimeter. So just released it a bit with the ear hook now, because I've mobilised it and I can feel it in the ear. So this is easily, if you put too much pressure on this wax plug in any way now, it's going to go further in. So we have to be really careful, and because the wax was quite rough around the surface, the patient could feel it slightly when I'm manipulating it. Now, just here, I have manipulated the wax in such a way that we could actually use forceps now. You can see there's a gap either side. But the suction grip at the moment is pretty good, so I'll just continue because I'm in there with the sucker. But the patient did feel it was a bit rough around the edge, because I said the surface is quite rough. So I think I'm in a minute going to just put some oil just to lubricate it. Or I think I actually go in with the ear hook first, and then the patient reports it's a bit rough. So I'm just bringing it slightly further forwards. I think initially I used the hook at the back. Oh no, here's the oil. And that just helps to almost buffer the ear canal. So the surface of the wax, which is quite rough, as I said, it's not scratching. It's almost like sandpaper. That's the best way I can describe it. So in its original state, because it was quite dry and bumpy on the surface, it's almost like sandpaper. The patient could feel it wriggle backwards and forwards. So with the oil, it just helps to loosen it. And I'm going to just bring it a bit further forwards. And I've got a decent suction grip here at the moment. I can feel it coming out, so it's just continuing. And I managed to get this plug hanging halfway out the ear canal. And then I'm going to use the hook and forceps just to finish off the job. And again, that's a good, this is a reason why suction is quite useful at times, because we can really manipulate the wax plug. We can go left, right, round in circles. We've got that control. You can see we can really wriggle and jiggle this outwards. Whereas with other instruments you don't. You just grab onto it, you pull, you can dissect it in half. Or remember, the ear canal's bendy as well. So you've got the first and second bend. We want to manipulate this wax out around the bends. Otherwise, it probably won't come out still because we've got that resistance. So we're not pulling this through a cylinder, a straight cylinder. We're pulling it through a twisted cylinder, an S-bend cylinder. So we have to kind of go around the curvature of the ear at the same time. So this is almost hanging out the ear now. And I'm just going to use a hook, I think, at the top, just to get in behind. I think I cut it in half. And I think now I'm going to resort to the forceps because I've got a nice piece there to, you can see it's extended. I've got a good surface area to grasp the forceps around. You can see it cuts half of it, the other half's still there. But this half, because I've brought it forward, it's near the entrance, so I don't have to manipulate it as much, taking it out. That's another huge piece. You can see how bendy the ear canal is here, so we're going up, and just to the left here, that's the second bend, and the ear canal veers off to the left, so you can see that plug was extending from the first bend, which is on the right hand side here, and then this is the second bend, and it was going all the way to the eardrum. And you can see all these skin adhesions as well, and that was attached to the wax plug. So the skin that lines the ear canal, as it dies, it envelopes itself around the wax if it doesn't naturally migrate, and then the underneath layer of the skin is still attached to the canal wall, as you can see here. Now, I want to remove this purely as a diagnostic purpose, because if you watched, I think the video yesterday or the video before, there was some exposed bone underneath some skin. I mean, you always need to see what's underneath that skin, because you could have erosion of the skin, the bony part of the ear canal can be exposed. Sometimes you can get a canal cholesteatoma, which is very serious and dangerous, which needs to be treated almost immediately by ENT. And that's sometimes hidden away underneath the skin, and that's why, wherever possible, try to remove it. This last bit of skin is a bit tedious. I managed to get some of it, and the rest I left because it did begin to start clarinetting. As I said, it wasn't significant to remove all of that, so I just left that remaining bit. Nice healthy eardrum, patient could hear very, very well, very happy. That's all the wax. You can just see how dry and crusty it was. And I actually managed to weigh the wax today, so it's 655 grams, so quite a big haul. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. Remember, take care, keep well, be kind and be nice. Bye.